This is the Reverend Bill, and today is Thursday, and it's about 4:37 in the afternoon. And let's see, today is it's kind of overcast. They said it was going to be sunny today, but it's actually rained a little bit. And a few things going on today. I decided I was on YouTube the other day, and uh, don't actually remember a lot of their names. I don't mean to snub them, but I go to a lot of different places. But there was a woman that said that she learned Spanish. Did she say a week or so? But she had a history of learning Spanish. What was this now? She knew Korean and English, and then I think she took some variation of Spanish in high school. So it wasn't so much she was learning it as that she was brushing up, I think. And she did fine. So, but it really, she did kind of come clean. It wasn't really learning Spanish. Anyway, I thought that I was going to try something like that, but I'm going to come clean. I did take 2 years of Spanish in high school many years ago. If I was to come clean, I would say it was 79 and I think 80. Um, I can tell you all about the beautiful, luscious legs of a girl sitting next to me. I cannot really remember much about it at the time. I do remember the basics, blah, 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 blah. Um, so I didn't really learn much, and that was a long time ago, as you would know. Then I really didn't have any interest at all until maybe about 2000 when I started going to the Caribbean and I started hanging around Cancun and the like. And I picked up just some barroom chatter. I wouldn't say that I was good for much. I wouldn't be like, let's say go to a bar and pick up a girl or anything like that. I mean, I could say, "Give me have a beer, please," or something to that effect. And throughout the years, whenever I went to there, I would pick up a few more things and online. Do a couple of things online. So I guess what I'm trying to say to you is I can get the basics done. I can ask for the restroom, donde está baño. I can, ask for a sandwich. But I mean, I really couldn't have a meaningful conversation. I guess the real problem with me is I think I can pretty much say wherever I want to because I can dance around words for the most part. If I don't know how to say this word, I can probably say these three words and kind of get around, if you know what I mean. Is I don't have an ear. I can say perfectly well something like, can you tell me where I can get my beautiful wife here a steak? But then anything more than a succinct answer, and I get lost. I'll have to say despacio or, otra vez again, please. I'll eventually get there, but it's not going to be easy. So I'm not really a newbie either. Yeah. So if you drop me in Mexico, just you and whoever is listening, we had some money. Well, we wouldn't starve. We wouldn't starve. I'd be able to get us from point A to point B, and I get us a nice room. Get us a couple of cold beers. I don't drink anymore, but I get us into eat and drink, and yeah, I mean we would be fine. I might have been able to tell a joke in Spanish. Maybe it wouldn't be easy for them to understand, but yeah. But I mean, I'm not really. The whole idea of me being fluent in any stretch of the imagination is laughable. I mean, I would be struggling and people would be laughing. But no, I don't really think I would not say I can speak Spanish, but I can survive. Let's put it that way. So let's see what I can do in a week or two. Maybe I'm not sure how long I'm going to do it. Starting today, I'm probably going to do it for at least a week and see how it goes. Because I really haven't followed through on this. But like I said, I can get through an emergency, little else. What else can we discuss today? Let's talk about this world again, because I've been doing a lot of thinking about this, and I don't really quite understand. God is not an unreasonable God, I mean, people seem to think that He's giving us all these incredibly crazy rules. One of these things I've been having some downtime recently. I think I've told you about that, and it's given me a chance to relax and give some things some thought. And I'm actually kind of surprised at some of the realizations that I've had. And one of the ones is that God's laws do not seem unreasonable. What I started to do is I started to kind of like start from ground zero and assume that the only things that I really have to do are in the Bible. And I try to air away all the things that men are trying to tell me to do. Because when all said and done, Jesus is the Word. Jesus came here and he gave us the Word, and we have that tied together with the Old Testament. I think we pretty much can read that. It's pretty clear, except for Revelations, which is all tied up with numbers. And I have heard enough from that I kind of have a clear idea what's going on there as well. But that's one of the reasons, I have nothing against the Pope. I really don't. But I just don't see why he's necessary. Peter and the apostles were necessary because it was a new thing. And a lot of people were kind of like standing around going, what is this thing? And then he needed some mouthpieces. But that was many years ago. And I think we're all pretty clear on what the Bible is. I mean, I don't even know how many Bibles I got in the house. I don't mean to brag or anything, but I mean, everyone should have Bibles. I mean, I don't know, I must have like 5 or 6. I know I keep one to went to Megan last time she was even here. She didn't like the printing on hers. One of the big ones. I just gave her one. I still had like 5 other ones. Yeah, I mean, everyone's got Bibles. We can all see what the word of the Lord is there. Open it. I mean, it's right there. And it's very interesting too. It's got a history. I was mentioning about Enoch before. And although the book of Enoch is not in the Bible, they use the book of Enoch to jibe other stories, to correlate stories. So it's kind of like if there were some times of antiquity back, and they were trying to prove, Mo, if Mo existed back in the times of, Jesus, and they didn't know if Mo existed, but they knew Curly existed, so therefore they knew Mo existed, and they knew Curly existed, so therefore they knew that Larry existed. But they couldn't prove that Curly wrote the paper that Curly wrote, although they could prove that Curly wrote the paper. It makes no sense. Like, well, if you know that Curly lived, and you know that Curly wrote the paper, and you know that Curly was alive because his existence was enough to prove that Larry and Mo was alive, why couldn't you use that to prove that Curly was alive? It's like, well, it doesn't work. It can only prove that Curly was alive enough to prove that Larry and Mo was alive, but we can't use it to use that Curly actually wrote the paper. We can only use that they wrote the paper, but not when he wrote the paper. It's completely ridiculous. But the point I'm trying to get to is Enoch may not be part of the Bible, but he's the actual glue that holds the Bible together. They use Enoch for a reference point all over the place. So if they may have taken the book of Enoch out of the Bible, but if you took out the book of, if they took out the Enoch reference point, the Bible comes apart. So the book of Enoch can stand, and I'm fine with it not being in, but let's not dismiss Enoch. He's extremely important. So anyway, getting back to the Bible's really solid, and all the things we need about the Bible is there, and it's been followed through over and over and over again. And even the Muslims acknowledge the existence of Christ. They just don't exist what he was. So I don't think really anyone has any dispute that Jesus lived. So anyway, whatever. But getting back to it, so the Lord, I think he's very reasonable. I honestly, I don't know why people seem to think his rules are too much. I think if you're a conservative Republican, you can sit back, and if you follow your conscience and you follow the rules of the Lord, you should be pretty much okay. I'll tell you what, I told you that God did talk to me, and he does talk to me occasionally. I know some preachers back in the 70s and 80s, they say God came to them and talked all the time. And I talk about that tongue in cheek, was it Oral Roberts? I think God went to him and said he wanted him to, I forget the amount of money. It was like he had to raise millions of dollars. I mentioned this in one of my last tapes, and we joke about it, But God does come to me, and he does talk, and he talks to other people too. I'm not a whack job, believe me. I don't get the God coming to me and chatting with me about how he wants to get me rich, and he wants to look at my ledger books. No, that's not my God. No, in all honesty, and I will be very honest with you, God is very succinct. He doesn't come to me and discuss my finances. No, my God, when he comes to me, he's very abrupt. He doesn't come. He's not mean. But he gets to the point. And I think I mentioned it before. I was very confused because last time he came to me, he told me to stop drinking. And it was something that I really enjoyed doing, and I didn't do it to excess. I've never, gotten a ticket. I've never gotten any kind of ticket. I've never gotten a parking ticket, let alone any kind of moving ticket. Never been arrested. I've got some divorces, but that's nothing to do with any of that. That was other issues, unfortunately, and not mine. Um, but I mean, yeah, I saw no reason to. But let me tell you something: the Lord knows, and when He tells you to do something, you don't debate it. And He said to me, "Not one drop." And I said, "Okay." When the Lord talks to you, you don't say, "Well, why? Well, it's not a problem." I don't. You just okay. Anyway, I didn't understand that, but lo and behold, and I'm not going to explain the whole thing to you, but I think I found out why, and there's a realization. And I think there was a situation that it might be getting exacerbated by the alcohol, and I'll probably reveal more later, but not right now. But once again, the good Lord, He knows things we don't need. I know, and had no idea about something else, and He did. And now He came down and He told me something that confused me. And now, in hindsight, whoa, now it makes all the sense in the world. So, again, for those of you who may not be completely believing in me, that should be another sign that there is a Lord. What else do we want to talk about here really quickly? I don't like taking too long because you might shut me out. If you shut me out, then I don't know. It might kind of hurt my feelings, but I don't know. We'll see. Getting back here. Okay. Another thing too is the world's just acting so crazy here. In all honesty, God's not asking us to do too much. He's asking us to be good. He's asking us to find someone that we love. He's asking us to keep holy, to remember who made Him, to remember who our Father is, and He is our Father. And remember when you're praying to Him to call Him that and speak as His children, because that's how He sees us. I know that because I talk to Him occasionally, and very, very rare occasions He talks back. But no, I mean, it's that the world's just gone insane though, and I honestly don't know how we can fix it. He just wants us to be normal, have families, love each other, and have a good life, and then meet Him, and afterwards. I don't know what's so hard. And then people have to go around with this gay lifestyle, which all that does is bring around filth and disease. And then there's this trans lifestyle, which makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. No good can come out of that at all. You got people running around identifying as cats. We got kids in school that are dressing up. I couldn't believe this. This is just absolutely like out of Monty Python. They got children going to school dressed as cats and dogs, and they're encouraged to run around scratching and biting each other. And I saw a report on this, and then went to the schools, asked the principal, how could this be allowed? And the principal's child is one of them, and it was actually actively biting the children when they got there. It's crazy. I mean, wow. Okay. What else? They're going to college and they're spending all this money. Has anyone actually looked at these majors they're getting? I thought I was bad because I took theology and philosophy, and I was bad. I should never have taken that. I never should have gone to college. I should have gone into trade school. But that's bad. They should go to trade school now. But they're going to majors. And majors are something like gender studies of northern climates. What are they going to do with that? I mean, they were mouthing off these majors when they graduated. They came with these robes, and they were saying, I'd never heard of these kind of crazy genders before. I mean, these studies of the leaf consumptions by the koala bears living in extreme hot climates. I don't know. It's ridiculous. Boy, I don't know. Let me tell you something. This is why I don't think there's going to be much for the world. And this is a story, and it's a true story. And I don't mean, I'm using it as an example. I don't mean to give any value judgment on it. It's a true story that about the 70s as opposed to today. Okay. And I know in the 70s, it was a little rough, and I know it's a little rough today. And I was not a participant in either one. I'm just giving you an example of the way things were. In gym class back in the 70s, it was a rough suburban town. After gym class, everyone had to take a shower. Now, this is going back around like 74, 75. I don't really know how it was in the Midwest or anything like that. Occasionally, there'd be boys that are too shy to take a shower. Now, again, I don't really know what it's like nowadays, but in those days, the gym was serious business. It was double glass. You were playing football, you were playing baseball. I don't really know what they do nowadays. But I mean, you were hitting pretty hard. This is the 70s, with the Steelers, the champions, we were hitting each other. Like it might have been 12 or 13, but there were some 6 foot 13-year-old kids, 12, 13. Anyway, afterwards, we all got in the shower, and the showers were what they were, which is a big room. And you guys probably over the age of 50, you know what I'm talking about. A big square room with shower heads, and we all took our clothes off. We went in there, and no one really even knew we were naked. We just went in there. They're just shower heads, like a herd of cattle. We turned the water on. We just showered and got out of there, and got dressed, went our business. Like I said, we didn't know we were naked. We didn't care we were naked. Whatever. We just did what we did. We were guys. Who cared? Now my understanding is that it's the opposite. Oh, and if anyone didn't do it, by the way, here's a piece of resistance. They were tormented, and if they still didn't give in extreme cases, the kids would get them and throw them in the showers and turn the water on. Peer pressure. Again, not saying it was right, not saying it's wrong. We can have that conversation all day long about peer pressure, the good and the bad, and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying what it was. Okay. Now we have a different thing today, same kind of situation, only backwards, which is now there's no showering. And I guess if you do shower, then you get harassed. I'm not sure what they say to you if you do shower, but I do know that you don't shower. You dare not shower from what I understand. I'm not sure what you get labeled as, but you get harassed. So here's my thing. Let's just use that as an example of the world. We all know you should shower after sports. Now, again, I'm not talking about the shower. I don't really care about whether the kids shower or not. I'm talking this as an example representative of one of infinite number of things that have changed over the world. We could just talk about anything, but let's just talk about this because it could be anything. Now, if you told me that if you could go back to the 70s and tell these guys that were showering, that they couldn't shower anymore, they'd probably be okay about it. They'd be like, that's disgusting. But they're probably, well, do I have to sit around and well, it's only once a week, whatever. Yeah, okay. But I was in the 70s. I know this stuff. They'd probably be swearing under their breath, maybe, putting on their clothes over their sweat, but they'd deal with it, whatever. Now, but these other guys, if you told them, oh, you got to take off your clothes and get naked and stand around, oh my God, they'd rather die. They would never do that. You mean they're going to have to get naked and stand in a room with 30 other naked men looking at him? That's not going to happen. Now, why I'm bringing that up is because you can name something else, and I'd be glad if you wanted to. Anytime you guys want to do a session, to discuss this live, I'd be interested to also. I mean, you can use anything, any example of anything in the world today. People have just gotten hypersensitive. And it's not like just a thing you can just turn around and say, yeah, that way you are, don't do that anymore, because they'll flip. And that's why I'm not sure about this. Now, why am I bringing this up? Well, why I'm bringing this up is because up until recently, I've always thought that there was going to be like an end of the universe, or there was going to be some kind of a quota, or something that was going to happen for the end of the world, like the devil and if you watch that show Bedazzled, they had a competition who got the many souls, et cetera, et cetera. And I guess whoever got the many souls, I don't know, I forget. I think that the devil won, and then for some reason, when he went to get the winning prize, he lost somehow. I don't know, but I'm just wondering though. So I don't know. I just, if that's it, the Lord, I kind of got a feeling from the Lord, to be honest with you, that the world is not going to end through a physical means, and it's not going to end through the decay of human beings and their morals. That's just kind of the feeling that I got. And I'm only bringing it up now because that was just kind of a feeling I got the other day when I was praying. And if that's the case, then I'm just not sure what the Lord would base the end of time on. I have no idea. I really don't. I'm going to give some thought and pray to it, but it's just kind of interesting because I don't. if the world lasts for another million years, it'd be interesting because the way that the human race is splitting with the ideals, everything's splitting. That's why last couple of years ago when they were talking about nationalizing the world, I see it going in a different area. I see it being separated. I see it being separated by race. I see it separated by nationality. I see it being separated by gender. You name it. I actually, kudos to Morgan Freeman, by the way. I saw him in an interview, and they were saying how they mentioned something to him, like some stat about Pride Month, Black Pride Month, and I don't know. He just kind of like just dismissed it. And she said, Black Pride Month doesn't mean anything to you. Doesn't mean much to you. And he said, no, it means nothing to me. And she said, well, how would you get rid of racism? And he said, I'd stop talking about it. And you know something? He's absolutely right. And I've been kind of saying that, and it's hard for a white person to say that. It really is. But I grew up in a rough area, town. I mean, I didn't live in the rough area. The town was rough. It was a nice area, the rough town, which is still kind of rough, but whatever. And I hung around some black guys, and back then, it was just we'd laugh and we'd joke. I mean, it would be a thing, guy would be black. I had another black guy, and his girlfriend was pretty cute, and I would joke with her, and we'd all joke with each other about whether she'd want to try the white guy and whether I could steal her away. And it was an ongoing joke. And I mean, we all knew what color we were, and we were fine with it, and we liked to joke about it. It's okay. Nowadays, you really can't joke about it. It's not funny anymore. I think we've taken a huge step backwards. It is what it is. And I think, you don't go around pointing overly like, oh, she's blonde, she's brunette, redhead. I mean, it is what it is. It's no big deal. Okay, she's redhead. I mean, to me, it's all just people that say, oh, I don't see color. Well, that, of course you see color. I mean, I'm married to a Nigerian, and before that I was engaged, oh my gosh, Rwandan, before that Ugandan. Do you see a pattern here? I like black women. I mean, of course I see black. Before that I liked white women, and I'm sure the traits there I liked too. Of course you see things, but we're all just human. It's not a big deal. But I really think that we've got to be careful, because I don't not see us going globally national. I see us in 20 or 30 years all being shut off in little sections. I may not be alive to see it, but I think quite the contrary. I think everyone's getting all isolated. People are getting scared to talk to each other. People are even getting scared of telephones. I mean, people aren't dating anymore. People do not know how to date. I think I mentioned this the other day, but I saw a guy around my age. People my age were interpersonal communicators, and that meant touching. And a guy talked to a woman who she was probably like around 25, and to get a point across, he touched her shoulder, and she freaked. She says, like, this is my personal space. Oh, we did. Something else. There were other people that used to drink coffee and eat peanut butter. And then when they got to work, they talked to you from an inch away. They were close talkers. So you'd have to talk to them smelling peanut butter and coffee all morning long in your breath. That's the way it is. And that's the office. And that's the way things were. So I don't know. What else we got going here? But yeah, no, that's serious though. I mean, I really did get a message from the Lord. And it wasn't anything alarming. I just happened to ask him, I'm worried about saving souls, and I want to get enough souls to save, in my life. And I was asking about the end of the world, and he just happened to say, because I was curious, is it going to the world going to blow up, or is it going to be like, like the Planet of the Apes? Is moral decay going to cause, the low nuclear weapons going to? And he just said, no, it's not going to end up those ways. So got me wondering, how's it going to end? If the human being is not going to blow it up, or moral decay is not going to blow it up, and the Earth's not just going to end, I don't know. I'm stuck. Anyway, all right. Well, thanks for listening to my ramblings. But hope you have a great rest of the day. And please, if you get some, my African shirt came today. If you like this, please like, share, and subscribe. And if you don't like it, please come back again, and I'll try harder next time. And all right, this is Reverend Bill signing off. Talk to you later. Bye.